Testing. That was weird. It like disconnected my microphone. Trump and his administration often caught flack for touting stock market gains as evidence of a booming economy, while millions of Americans are not invested in the market. White House official given anonymity. Why can I not ever say that word? Anonymity. Anonymity? I think it's anonymity. To discuss the plan, said it would grant eligible workers access to saving vehicles similar to the thrift savings plan available to federal workers, which said provides for an efficient savings program that includes a government match and offers diversified index-based investment options and portfolio choices. Plan would tap an existing program known as the Savers Match Tax Credit that was enacted under the 2022 Secure 2.0 law to provide an annual match of up to $1,000 to low-income workers beginning in 2027. Oh, no way. That's awesome. That would be a reason to open a 401k for sure. $1,000 match is no joke. That's no joke. We'll match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year. Dude, that would be sick. That'd be hype. Trump reiterates his call to bar private equity from gobbling up homes. President reiterates his call on Congress to pass legislation barring large institutional investors from buying up single-family homes, asking Congress to codify an executive order he signed to do so. I'm asking Congress to make that ban permanent because homes for people, really, that's what we want, Trump said. We want homes for people, not corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Trump's call to bar institutional investors from gobbling up homes echoes populist proposals from the progressive left, who are hammering the president on affordability. Democrats released another plan earlier Tuesday to limit the ability of larger investors to buy homes just before the State of the Union address. That would be bad. I don't think that would be... I mean, that'd be good for people who don't have a home yet, but that would be bad in general for real estate. That'd keep real estate very stagnant, I feel like. So I don't know how positive that is. The economy is doing great, Trump said. Trump said the economy is roaring like never before. As polls continue to show voters are souring on his performance on the economy and Democrats slam him and Republicans on affordability. Politics has nothing to do with affordability, but okay. President also took credit for what he said was the defeat of inflation, the bans of his predecessor and political nemesis, former President Joe Biden. Inflation is plummeting, Trump said. In 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation to the lowest levels in more than 5 years. Yeah, no shit. No fucking shit. Inflation is fucking high, dude. If you couldn't get inflation low in 5 years, like, you failed. But again, politics has nothing to do with inflation. If anything, you should thank the Federal Reserve for not lowering interest rates like this fucking idiot wants them to. Because if the Fed lowered interest rates as much as, you know, the government wanted, or Trump wanted him to, inflation would be high as fuck. So, I don't know. It's crazy that someone watches this and reads this and, like, actually believes Trump and the government has anything to do with anything economical, when that's just not the case. Like, economics is its own thing. Politics is its own thing. Sure, you know, the tariffs could have had a potential effect on certain things, but that's one thing. What else have they done? Literally nothing, because there's nothing they can do. So that's just so dumb, bro. In politics, and yeah, politics has nothing to do with economics. Literally. Anyone who believes that's is pretty uneducated, honestly. Like, yeah, there's not a single thing politics has an effect on economics besides the way people view the economy. And I guess tariffs, you know, you could say tariffs have an effect, but that's a little different. A little different. Let's see. Democrats offer some but not explosive resistance in the chamber. Democrats aired their frustration with the president at certain points in the speech, but largely avoided outright interference with Trump's remarks. Trump gouted Democrats for not standing after he asked lawmakers to stand up and show your support. If they agreed that the first duty of the U.S. government is to protect the American citizens, not illegal aliens. That prompted a brief back and forth between Trump and Rep. Ilhan Omar Damin and Rashida Tlaib Dimich. Omar's from Minnesota, where two citizens were shot dead by federal immigration officers this year while carrying out the president's deportation agenda. I don't even want to talk about that, but if you get shot, there's probably a reason for it. And one of the videos, I know for sure the lady basically tried to run over one of the officers, so it's her fault she got shot. The other one, I haven't seen the other video, so I don't know exactly what happened there. If you're going to try to run over I would shoot you too. If you tried to run me over, I would put a cap in your ass. So, like, that's her fault. And, you know, the other video, I don't know. Representative Al Green de Texas, I think that's Democrat Texas, was ejected from the chamber for a second year in a row during a speech by Trump after he held a sign that read, "Black people aren't apes." Trump's personal social media account recently shared a blatantly racist video that depicted the Obamas as apes. Politics is so fucking stupid, dude. Politics is so dumb. What's up, Rosh? Trump mostly keeps the speech domestic. Trump mostly focused his speech on domestic policy and political issues and avoided getting bogged down in his efforts abroad. The president did, however, speak briefly about Iran, where he has directed a massive military buildup and where he's been hinting he might want to strike. We're in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon, Trump said of Iran. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy, but one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have nuclear weapons. Trump's focus on domestic issues is likely a reflection of the political reality. Democrats have taken an early lead in polling ahead of the midterms and largely swept 2025 off-year elections by focusing on affordability and kitchen table issues. Republicans seem to appreciate the life raft. What I was hoping he'd do would be talk about things moms and dads worry about when they lie down at night and can't, and he did, said Senator John Kennedy after the speech. Okay. What's up, Moose? What's up, Moose? Anything else here? Mortgage rates at the lowest level in 4 years. Home buyers are still stuck on the sidelines. Yeah, no shit. Shit's too expensive. Even if a home was affordable, like the taxes and any maintenance, there's just so much that goes into owning a home beyond the mortgage rate. $11 U.S. states urge DOJ to thoroughly probe Netflix Warner Bros. Deal. Are collectibles a viable asset class? The buyer of the 16.5 million Pokemon card thinks so. Oh, this could be. I mean, I have mixed feelings about this, but let's see. Social media influencer and wrestler Logan Paul made history last week. He sold a rare Pokemon card for $16.5 million, a world record price for an auctioning trading card. The winner views it as an investment. AJ Scaramucci, son of the investor and former White House communication director Anthony Scaramucci, won the bidding war for the Pikachu Illustrator card made in 1998, and one of only a few dozen in existence. It's the crowning achievement in the Solari Capital founder's short collecting career, which started with trading cards during the pandemic. Picassos are great, he said in an interview explaining the Illustrator card's importance, but Pokemon means way more than just a Picasso painting to people. That's fair, but it still has no value. It's a fucking piece of cardboard inside of a plastic slab, so sure, you know, it has scarcity value and it's art. I can agree with that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't produce anything. There's really no value to it. After winning, Scaramucci said the card's purchase was the first action in what will be dubbed, as he dubbed, a planetary treasure hunt. He said the goal, which he is embarking on with his younger brother, is to collect a number of real-world scarce assets across varying categories. Trading card markets have exploded in recent years. According to data from Card Ladder, an analytics firm that tracks trading card prices and sales, the monthly sales volume in secondary trading has nearly doubled in the last 2 years. Yep. Doesn't mean it's going to last. Doesn't mean it's going to last. It'll, you know, I think Pokemon cards and collecting will always be relevant, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. eBay CEO Jamie Iannone, in the company's earnings call last week, detailed the largest contributor to gross merchandise volumes growth in the fourth quarter were collectibles, particularly driven by continued strength in trading cards. Paul himself bought the Illustrator card in 2021 for nearly $5.3 million, indicating he sold it with a more than 200% return. Card Ladder's Pokemon Index has grown 145% in the past year. Jeez. Compare those gains to the S&P, which is up 15% in the past year. Or compare it to the Magnificent 7 Darling Alphabet, which is up 73% in the past year. That's fair. That's fair. Especially in 2025, the growth has been astronomical. Golden helped facilitate the auction for the Illustrator card last week. We have people who are buying solely either because they absolutely love it, or they firmly believe that trading cards and collectibles are legitimate alternative asset classes. Scaramucci is someone who's buying Pokemon cards for both of those reasons, his own pleasure and investment potential. I mean, Pokemon's just crypto, basically. But at least it has, you know, at least it's a physical thing that's real. Crypto's kind of bullshit. I don't know if you guys saw, but crypto is up, actually. Which, not surprised. Compounded annual growth rate, you know, whether crypto's going to come back at this point, that's up for debate still, but it is up. Compounded annual growth rate of these cards is out of control, he said, and they should be treated as investments because that's what they are. It's just obvious. Scaramucci added the cards are a way to play the debasement trade, where investors fearful of countries devaluing their currencies move money into hard assets. Viewing collectibles as an alternative asset is not new, even if unorthodox. Yeah, sure. Would be funny if the new buyer put it up for fractional ownership. I guess. I don't know. I think I would. It seems like a terrible investment, but sure. Seems like a terrible investment. Paul Carter, co-founder and managing partner at wealth advisory firm Twin Focus, said he works with the client who collects art, wine, watches, and even guitars. But while some view these as items as investments, Carter wouldn't advise clients to get into that mentality. Think of it as a passion first and a kind of investment second, he said. You hope they go up over time, but they're absolutely not a replacement to financial assets. It's just maybe a complement to it at the margin. Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. But the only reason people are talking about trading cards right now is because they've gone up so much. 3 years ago, nobody gave a fuck about trading cards. So it's just, you know, how long is this going to last, really? Carter warned the illiquid nature of collectibles and the dependency they have on others determining the worth, often via auctions, are added risks. That's a huge point right there. They are not liquid. So, you know, a card might have sold for X amount and potentially is worth X amount, but if you yourself go and try to sell it, very debatable whether you'll actually get that or not. Depending on the card, obviously. Obviously, there are cards that are liquid, but there are a lot of expensive cards that are not liquid. Like the card I had that has been sitting in my power packs for the past month just barely sold, and it's because I took the price down by like 20-30%. You know, that's a $200 card. It's been selling for $200, but nobody would buy it. So it's like you're forced to lower the price at that point, or just keep it. Casey Lee Kong, managing director of the family office at Brighton Jones Wealth Management, also noted a risk is that capital gains on collectibles are taxed at 28%, higher than the capital gains on stocks that are around 15% and 20%. Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but probably. Despite the risk, Golden projects more people will view collectibles, particularly trading cards, as alternative assets. He said as more headlines come about detailing major sales like that of Paul's and price discovery becomes easier to do with more data, it will only attract more participants. Scaramucci will embark on his treasure hunt, though, a new company called Treasure Trove. However, he did not disclose any details about what the company will be, nor how it will operate. Beyond that, it will receive funding from Solari Capital. Scaramucci also didn't disclose if he plans to sell the Illustrator card or any of others collectibles if it grows more in value. And while Scaramucci said he'd like to obtain the Declaration of Independence as part of his hunt after he won the Illustrator card, he acknowledged to CNBC that it's a goal that will take much work to achieve while not addressing a plan on how to do it. At the moment, the lack of clarity in his future plans is the point. For now, if you think I'm just a crazy person buying up real-world scarce assets, he said, that's all you need to know. I mean, yep, basically. We'll see where Pokemon goes in like 5 years. We'll see if people are still talking about it. I guess honestly, it just depends on crypto. If crypto goes to zero, which it probably won't, I feel like Pokemon would also not be great. But if crypto goes back up, I wouldn't be surprised to see Pokemon have another moment. Because that's most likely where all the money's coming from. I doubt any sane person is selling a good business for a Pokemon card. That'd be wild, actually. Bill Gates addresses Epstein files in candid town hall days after last-minute speaking cancellation. Let's see. Bill Gates spoke about his association with Jeffrey Epstein in a town hall meeting with employees at the Gates Foundation. Spokesperson for the nonprofit said Wednesday after recently released emails elaborated the Microsoft co-founder's relationship with the sex offender. Gates said in the recording of the meeting that he did nothing illicit during his interactions with Epstein and did not stay overnight, although they met in several countries. Gates also told staff members at Tuesday's meeting that he had an affair with a Russian bridge player and a Russian nuclear physicist, and that associate Boris Nikolok had discussed those relationships with Epstein. He and Melinda French, who were once co-chairs of the foundation, divorced. Okay. Conversation, Bill answered questions submitted by foundation staff on a range of issues, including the release of the files, foundation's work in AI, and the future of global health. Gates Foundation representative told CNBC in an email. In the town hall, Bill spoke candidly, addressing several questions in detail and took responsibility for his actions. Politicians, academics, and business executives have been implicated in the millions of pages of documents the Justice Department released January, leading some to give up their roles. Earlier this week, Dr. Peter Attia resigned from his position at CBS News, contributor, after he said the Epstein emails involving him were embarrassing, tasteless, and indefensible. For years, Gates maintained that it was a mistake to be involved with the disgraced former financier. Last week, the foundation said Gates would not appear at an artificial intelligence summit in India as planned. In new documents released by the Department of Justice that included a trove of emails, Gates and Epstein discussed philanthropical fundraising, Microsoft CEO search, and even $1 a bet about the performance of the euro. The emails described meetings with Foundation staff that were passed on to Epstein, who sometimes gave suggestions on how to proceed. Gates' new comments came weeks after the Foundation said that on the basis of Epstein claims that he could mobilize significant philanthropical resources for global health and developments, a small number of Foundation employees interacted with Epstein to try to secure the potential funding. Foundation said it never paid Epstein and no fund was ever created. The harm Epstein inflicted on women and girls was horrific and no one should have experienced what they did, the statement said. What's up, Hugh? Anything else here? Cava stock jumps 20% after surprise same-store sales growth driven by menu prices. Taser maker Axon pops 20% as AI boosts demand for its software tool. Okay. Bank of America drops surprising Nvidia warning before earnings. Yeah, I don't want to read this. People's opinions about stocks are ridiculous, no matter what it is. Even if it's Bank of America. Nobody really knows what they're talking about. Larry Summers resigning from Harvard over Epstein ties. Good, that guy sucks. That 401k match could be sick, though, if that actually becomes a thing. That'd be clutch. Trump vows we will always protect Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. What? Metallica announces Las Vegas Sphere residency with no repeat weekends. Metallica, aren't those guys like 80? I don't think there's anything else. There's so much news on yacht. Like, there's so much shit. News is so bad, bro. Okay. Terrible. Road collapses in Omaha. What? There's video of it? Nah. Just a normal day. Doo-doo-doo. Just a normal day. Just a normal day. What the fuck is it about? It's just a normal day. Oh my god, dude. What the fuck? That's so random, bro. I'd be pissed. Is this guy gonna try to get out? If this dude tries to mob up this, he's a boss, dude. He's an actual boss if he just fucking mobs up. Oh, he's getting out. Okay. I thought he was gonna just fuck. I thought he was gonna hit the accelerator and just try to mob up. Like, what a boss, bro. What is this guy doing? Why? Why is this guy parking on the sidewalk? What is he doing? Like, what the fuck? Where did this guy even come from? He just do. He's like, oh shit, I'm gonna go park on the sidewalk, dude. This looks like a job for the guy in the purple Hellkeezy. I don't think that's a Hellcat, but it's a Charger of some sort. This looks like a job for the guy in the purple Charger. Is that a chick? No, that's not a chick. He doesn't even... He can't even help the dude get out, bro. Why did he even pull over? What is... Bro. I mean, some good citizens there, but like... I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think you need to be like parking in the middle of the road. I don't think you need to be parking on the sidewalk either. Well, that's wild, bro. That's a wild thing. What's up, Grady? Finally learned what Open Door does. We literally watched the earnings call. How did you... I don't know. We literally watched the earnings call and read about the business. I don't... They flip houses. Yep. That's all they do. Very simple business. But they do it in a... It's like almost like a stock market for houses, though. Because they give you, like, instant offers and... Yeah. It's a little bit more than just flipping houses. It's gamifying houses in a lot of ways. Yeah, it's been there's been a lot of news about the blizzards in the east. The weather seems crazy there. Yeah, that was not much there on the article, but that was a wild video. Can't even drive on a road anymore. Scientists create tomatoes that smell like popcorn using gene editing. That's, wow. What a great use of time. What a great use of time. Top hockey players are now all wearing Burger King jerseys during games. Man, man jailed after feeding a cocktail for a YouTube video to a falcon or a hawk. A hawk. Does he have a joint in his mouth too? What? I think the joint was photoshopped in there, but that's funny. Hanging. This was giving the hawk a buzzball. I don't know shit. Okay, maybe the joint isn't photoshopped in there. The Hawk is getting fucked up, bro. That's pretty funny, actually. Of course, that's animal abuse, but it's still funny. You don't see that often. Wait, is Resident Evil Requiem out? Did this come out today? I think this came out today. Oh, it comes out in 2 days. Maybe somebody who bought like the deluxe edition got early access or something. That should be a good game though. I don't know that I would buy it. Or, you know, I probably would actually. I just can't. I'm just a brokey. Probably should have just bought that game instead of spinning slot machines like a degenerate loser. Let's see. Realtors are starting to recommend it because houses sit longer on the market. Homie had a client use Open so she could buy a listing he had. Was a divorced, big house, and half done reno. Not really my thing. Haven't been keeping up with the stream. You guys talk about the big Citrini research article that was getting circulated? No. I don't know what that is. How is I'm confused. How is like learning about actual business and like seeing the realities of business, how is that not your thing, but reading a terrible article is your thing? That's confusing. That's confusing. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get how, like, yeah, that's wild. That's wild to me. I like reading articles too, but like it doesn't outweigh actually learning about business in any way, shape, or form. Somebody's opinion research article is 9 times out of 10 completely irrelevant. So that's just very confusing to me. Played the absolute fuck out of RE4, but not much else in the series. RE4 is the best one. I've beat that game like 20 times, no joke. Maybe not 20, but I've beat that game a lot. What's up, Kenny? 5-year-old rewarded by airline after spotting mistake in pilot training? How's a 5-year-old better at their job than them? That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro. Five-year-old William Hines is obsessed with planes. Actually gone viral for spotting mistake with Southwest Airlines training manual. Feeling they sat and spoke for 2 hours. In the 2-hour window, he spotted the mistake. Discovered 2 terrain monitors did not match. They did not match at all. How's a 5-year-old a better pilot than? That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. YouTuber accused of killing girlfriend while using pre-recorded GTA stream. Okay. Strategy becomes most shorted, 25 billion plus stock, shares surge 8%. That's funny, actually. It's the most shorted stock when crypto's potentially going to finally rebound after all this time. That's actually pretty funny. What's the short interest on it? $12%? Man, that's not high enough, honestly. That's not high enough. I'm still not bullish on crypto, but that's pretty wild. GameStop might hit a new high today, maybe. Because a 5-year-old isn't thinking about anything else, pure still. Well, I did say in the article he was like obsessed with planes, but that's still wild, bro. That's a smart 5-year-old. Michael Saylor confirmed as a speaker for Bitcoin 26. Someone needs to go to this and troll. It'd be so funny to troll a bunch of crypto investors. That'd be a good time. I think it's like $2 or $3 grand to get a ticket for this shit, though. $500? Fuck that. Nah, it's in Vegas. Like most things, they're in Vegas. I don't think there's any more news, really. YouTuber spends 77 days building one-piece marine fort in Minecraft. Good lord. That's some dedication right there. Fans call new Steam version of Final Fantasy VII a disaster. What? How? Final Fantasy VII's goated. Yeah, I've heard Vagus. Vagus? I gotta sneeze, but it won't. I can't sneeze. Ugh, it won't happen. I need to sneeze so bad, dude. Samsung Galaxy Unpacked 2026 live. Galaxy S26 series, Buds 4, AI, and more. Oh, is this live right now? First flagship phone launch of the year. Samsung posed to fully unveil the Galaxy S26 in just a few hours. Oh, okay, it already started. Galaxy revealed the entire S26 lineup and Galaxy Buds. I don't want to read that. At least not right now. If I run out of things, maybe I'll read about that. It's just the same shit. It's the same shit over and over again. A little bit faster, a little bit sleeker. It's basically just the same shit over and over again, though. Google announces new Android AI features. Wow, I'm so excited. That's what I want, is just more AI. More useless AI. Yep. That's what I want in my phone. More useless AI. And in my earbuds, too. You know, how did I ever live without AI in my earbuds? So fucking stupid, dude. It's so stupid. AI is so dumb, bro. I can't get over it. AI is so dumb. Hacker used Anthropic's Claude chatbot to attack multiple government agencies in Mexico. Uber previews its Dubai air taxi service. I mean, that shit's so expensive, bro.
Culture and business.
Okay, never mind. I don't want to watch an ad. I was gonna watch that, but I don't want to watch an ad. Galaxy Buds 4 are gonna do the same thing, probably. I'm like I said, I'm not really interested. I'll look it up if I run out of things, but I already know what I'm about to read. My car got a Grok update. Now you can talk to it. That's so stupid. That's so dumb. That's actually so dumb. Did you give your car a name? Or is your car just named Grok now? Grok! I mean, it'd be useful for, like, navigation or something, maybe. You know, just asking it to navigate for you instead of having to, like, type in the navigation and all that. So, I guess there's a little bit of a benefit to that, but man, people are just talking to their AIs while they're driving. Oh, bro, what is the world coming to? What is the world coming to? Why? 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 There's an unhinged mode. It's actually hilarious. Oh man, I just hate it, bro. People are gonna be literally talking to their AIs while they're driving. They're just getting fucking ugh. That's just ridiculous, bro. That's just actually ridiculous. Amazon introduces 3 personality styles for Alexa Plus. Spotify can reorder your playlist by beats per minute in key. That's kind of cool, I guess. XAI's trade secret lawsuit against OpenAI has been dismissed. Apple introduced age verification for apps in Utah, Louisiana, and Australia. Nice. That's one of the reasons why I love Utah so much. It's one of the places that actually tries to, like, restrict things. I know a lot of people don't like that, but honestly, I'm so happy that you can't gamble in Utah. It's such a blessing that there's no casinos or... I mean, because of Prize Picks, you can sports bet and shit now, and prediction apps, you know, that shit's a thing, but yeah, Utah's great. Waymo will start offering robo-taxi rides in 4 more cities. Where are they going? Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and Orlando. Okay. I was watching a Danny Duncan video like a week or 2 ago, and he was just driving around LA, and whenever they would pass, or whenever, like, there'd be a Waymo coming in this lane, and he would literally swerve in front of the Waymo and then just swerve out of the way, and the Waymo just slams its brakes and just cranks the horn, and it's the funniest thing ever, bro. I can't wait till Waymos are a thing where I live, so I can fuck with some Waymos. It's so funny, bro. It's so funny. Trying to figure out how to make it have a Morgan Freeman voice. That's ridiculous, bro. That's actually ridiculous. Marvel's Wolverine will hit PS5 on September 15th. That game looked hella good. I don't know if you guys remember watching the trailer for that. That shit looked good. Reddit fined 19.6 million over age verification. Oh wait, we read that. YouTube's premium light tier gets background play and downloads. Blizzard finally revealed his long-rumored Overwatch mobile game. This is all news from yesterday, but I didn't really read news yesterday. Meta may trade AI chips for shares in its latest AMD deal. Interesting. That's pretty interesting. Telegram founder Pavel Durov is reportedly under criminal investigation in Russia. U.S. military will reportedly use Elon Musk Grok AI in its classified systems. Okay. Apple will start making Mac Minis in the U.S. Tesla sues California DMV after it banned the term autopilot. Okay. Anthropic accuses 3 Chinese AI labs of abusing Claude to improve their own models. I watched a video of penguins talking about that, and I think that's pretty funny. Because Anthropic literally stole, like, all of their data. And now they're mad someone's stealing the data they stole. Like, that's pretty wild, actually. Okay. I recognize all that stuff. Pokemon acquires U.S. trading card game distributor, so our stock woes could be... Wait, what? Pokemon acquires U.S. trading card game distributor. Let's see. Pokemon has announced that it'll acquire major U.S. trading card game distributor XL Brands. Oh, this could be a good stream clip. How long is this? Oh, it's not that long. It's not a good stream clip. Although the two companies have worked together for a long time, the Pokemon Company president Kenji Okubo says that this decision reflects our long-term commitment to supporting the Pokemon community and the broader trading card ecosystem. The press release adds that the acquisition will help meet what is called increasing expectations surrounding order fulfillment and the overall customer experience, which is a nice way to acknowledge that it's bloody impossible to find stock for one of the best card games. Considering how notoriously difficult it is to get expansions in the run-up to, during, and after launch, this news may offer fans a sliver of hope going forward. While we're unlikely to see a complete reversal of our misfortunes due to unscrupulous resellers scooping up as much stock as they can, it's worth noting that XL is a distribution partner to the most major US retailers that stock the Pokemon TCG, including Amazon, Walmart, and Target. In other words, this could be seen as a first step towards fixing the current situation. Oh, that'd be wild, bro. That'd be wild if they deflated Pokemon. Oh, man. Oh, man. That'd be wild. Like, Pokemon's only really valuable right now because of the scarcity aspect, and what happens when it's not scarce anymore? This is probably the most relevant news you've seen in the past month, honestly. This is very relevant news. You know, will it be enough to fix the landscape of Pokemon? We'll see. Feels as though this has been a long time coming. Last year, the Pokemon Company issued a statement around Baron TCG stock with promises of maximizing production. So I can only assume scooping up XL brands is part of that mission. Time will tell, I suppose. Oh, dude, this is... Oh, no. Could you imagine if they just started ramping up production and then Pokemon lost favor? Oh, bro. Could you imagine? Interesting. That's a relevant piece of news right there. It's been a while since I've seen a relevant piece of news, but that is relevant as fuck. That is so relevant. Why is there like no news on this website? Weird. There's like no news on this website either. What the heck? You want to put a Kalshi bet on what color Jensen's jacket will be? Well, that's a fire bet, bro. What's the percentage on that? What are the odds? That's a fire bet right there. All right, what earnings you got? Nvidia, Salesforce, Synopsys, Snowflake, Heiko, TKO Group. A lot of earnings today. I wanted to stream Beyond, but I don't know. Like, Beyond's supposed to have earnings today, but they haven't announced anything or anything like that. Like, that's what I want to stream. I know that stock is so fucking popular right now for some reason. It makes 0 sense. It's a complete garbage business, but for some reason it's so popular. But they haven't announced anything. And it doesn't look like they even ever announced their earnings prior to it happening. So unfortunately, I don't know. I think they're having earnings today, but I just don't know. Like, that would be the stock to stream, obviously. And also, I don't think they have an earnings call. I mean, let's see. Yeah, I don't think they do earnings calls. Oh, wait, they did. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they actually are reporting today or not. That'd be the one to stream about, though. Damn, crypto's kind of ripping today. Crypto's kind of ripping today. It's been a long time. Yeah, because on here it says they're supposed to have earnings today, but I don't know. There's been no official announcement. I think I'm just gonna send it, honestly, because everyone and their mom's fucking streaming Nvidia. I think I'm just gonna send it and hope that by some miracle they report today. Beyond is Definitely one of the most popular stocks right now. For some reason. Makes no sense, but it is. Oops. Okay. I think it'll be a better stream. Maybe. I don't know. But Nvidia is not going to be a good stream. I can tell you that. We'll just have to hope. We'll just have to hope beyond actually reports. And if they do, that'll be clutch. Tech and financials leading the way today. Wasn't there... mortgage rates. Mortgage rates. I thought they said they were both... Oh, yeah, this is lagging data. So... Mortgage apps are down. Still up, but down. Mortgage market index is still elevated. Mortgage refi index still elevated. Purchase index is low. Actually, wow. Purchase index is down a lot. Interesting. What is this one again? Oh, it doesn't say. Interesting. It's all people refining right now. Nobody really buying. You had that little moment at the starting of the year where a bunch of people were buying, but that went away pretty quick. Fed balance sheet comes out in a little bit. I don't know how relevant that is. Oh wait, I forgot the trend's changing on this. This could be relevant. This could be relevant. We'll see. I think it comes out in like 20 minutes. Ooh, insider buy on Uber. The CFO bought 1.6 million in shares. Uber, huh? How's Uber doing? I haven't looked at that in a while. Basically all-time highs. Not really. Kind of breaking out or retracing the breakout of all-time highs, but still looks fine. The real question is GameStop gonna hit all-time high or new highs today? It's kind of rejecting 24 a lot. Ooh, Humana insider buy, small but notable. I bet Humana's up. I guarantee it, since we've talked about it. Every stock I talk about, I swear, is always up after I talk about it. I swear. Oh, it's actually not. Man, that's still such an interesting investment, though. That's still such an interesting investment. I don't remember exactly when we talked about it. It's actually down, though. But still, I still think Humana is very interesting. Let's see. Any whales? Nope. 13 Fs are over. Short interest went up. Short interest went up. Interesting. Short interest is up like 0.6%. I don't remember what the warrants were. I think it's this one. 3.04 million. I can't remember what these were at. I want to say they were at like 2, though. So I think the short interest on the warrants went up too. I don't remember. I don't remember what it was last time we looked. I want to say it was like 2.6 or 2.7, but now it's over 3 million. I want to increase my position next week. Well, I don't think the price really matters, to be fair. I've got an addiction to buying GME. Maybe one day I'll branch out. I'm never buying another stock. Till Gamestop's up like 10, 20x. There's literally no point in buying anything else. By the time, if that happens, 10, 20x, everything else is going to probably be expensive as well. So it's still probably going to be the only investment to buy. I have a fixed amount of money, so I get more shares that way. I mean, so do I, but the price still doesn't matter. A couple shares isn't gonna really change anything, to be fair. It's really not. All right. Well, that sucks. I think that Pokemon news is really relevant, but other than that, and the 401k thing, getting $1,000 match on a 401k would be goated. That's only relevant for Americans, though. And Reddit's trash. Not a surprise. Not a surprise there. It's actually funny. I think Super Stonk is ran by Germans. And, no offense to Rosh, but it's all making sense now. It's making sense now. After that hymn stream, it all makes sense. I didn't know that. I think it is, because when you go on when you type in Super Stonk, it says, Diamond Hand Day is simply a thread on Super Stonk, its community that gathers daily to represent that many corners of the world with stocks we love. So I don't know. I think this is ran by Germans. I don't know, though. It would make a lot of sense. It would make a lot of sense why I dislike it so much. Because that hymn stream was eye-opening. I can't verify nor deny, but I think potentially it's ran by Germans. That's probably why there's so much misinformation and bad views on the investment. But I don't know. It's the only thing I could assume. Let me clean up my mouse here. I feel like Hugh G would know better if he's here. He's been a part of that for longer. Well, now I don't know what to talk about, so I guess we're gonna review or check out the Galaxy. A lot more of the same for a little more money. Alright, I don't want to read about the Galaxy then. I'll read about the new buds though. Let's see. Inside the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro, Samsung's using a wider woofer as part of its two-way driver setup for cleaner bass. That configuration's dedicated tweeter should also deliver natural, rich treble, according to the company. Both Galaxy Buds 4 models support high-quality audio up to 24 bits and 96K hertz, and direct multi-channel 360 audio is available. The Galaxy Buds 4 Pro got a bulk ANC upgrades. Samsung says it's improved noise canceling. Company promises effective noise blocking for transit sounds, engine noises from buses, trains, or planes, in addition to everyday background noise. Yeah. That's one of the reasons I can't wear earbuds, bro. I do not like I don't like the noise blocking. I like being aware of my surroundings. I'm not a big fan of blocking out noise. In addition to everyday background noise, what's more, both the Galaxy Buds 4 device features ambient sound mode, adaptive EQ, and adaptive ANC, which the latter two applying adjustments automatically as needed. Pro model can also detect the user's voice and increase ambient sound for conversations, a feature that's held over the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro. When you stop talking, the earbud will automatically resume ANC. Galaxy Buds Pro 4 also has a siren detect feature that activates ambient sounds so that you can hear safety alerts like alarms or emergency vehicles. Well, that's kind of cool. New item that pushes the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro closer to the AirPods Pro 3 is the head gestures. Samsung will now let users manage calls and interact with Bixby. Bixby? That's their AI's name, is Bixby? Alright. By nodding or shaking their head side to side. As before, the Galaxy Buds remain a conduit to Bixby, but they're also a gateway to Gemini and Perplexity, all of which can be accessed hands-free via voice control. Didn't I already say that's what it was going to be? I didn't even need to read that, and I already knew. Did the Lightning Pack come out today or something like that? Don't look like it. When's that freaking Lightning Pack supposed to come out? I thought it was today. Another troll? Oops. I don't know why Reddit's talking about the short interest being like 700% when it's clearly not. Like, it's clearly not. 227. Oh, it's 227. Okay. Wait, it comes out when Resident Evil comes out? Interesting. Is that Friday? I don't even know what day it is, bro. Yeah, Friday. Wait, it's Wednesday? I thought today was Tuesday for some reason. uh, that's how good life's going. I don't even know what day it is. I don't even know what fucking day it is anymore. Didn't GameStop do something with Resident Evil, like a collab event? I have no clue. The game's not out, though. So... I think anyone playing it right now probably bought like a deluxe version and has a digital early access or something. But I have no clue. Where is it? Don't they have a... They have a thing here. Yeah, in-store events. Yeah, I don't see anything. GameStop Demo Day. A wild demo day has appeared. Visit a participating store to try out various Pokemon games on Nintendo Switch 2. Demo Day? That's new. That's new. That's fucking cool. Genius, actually. That's smart. That's a smart business move right there. A Ron. What's up, A Ron? How you doing, bro? How you doing, A Ron? That's enough from you, Balake. This head, the AI headline. GameStop is drawing renewed retail interest with share price around $23.77. Analysts debate its valuation with estimates ranging from $11.91 to $220 per share. Like, what? That's so stupid. That's so dumb, bro. That's that's too wide of a range. It's either worth 10x or 50% less. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Makes no sense. Yeah, you might break out here. You might break out here. Maybe. Damn, Beyond's up 10% today? Did they already have... There's no way they already did earnings. If they did, that sucks. I guess I should check their SEC website. I might have... It's gonna be annoying if I changed all that data. And I didn't even check this before I did it. Okay, they haven't reported yet. Okay, cool. Good. 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 I'll be right back. I got some rice cakes. Hey, look, it broke out. That's cool. That's cool. I might be an actual psychopath. Because you don't like... Basically, every penny the stock moves, for me, is over $100. So just that little breakout was like $2,000. And I just don't give a shit. Like, I literally just cared like zero. I'm like, oh, $2,000, boring. Like, that's literally how I feel. Like, even if it went up like $3, I'd be like, yawn. I'd be fucking bored. I'd be like, oh, I made 30 racks, yippee. Just not enough. It's just not enough. It's a lot. Don't get me wrong. You know, I'm grateful. But it's still not enough. Even if it hits like 1 million or 2. You know? Not enough. Like 1 million is not enough. In today's world. It's getting there. It's definitely getting there. But it's still not enough. Feels nothing up or down, basically. Basically. I'm just committed, though. Like, I'm never gonna sell. You know, whether it goes to $10 or $100, like, I'm never gonna sell. Unless it squoze. Like, if it squoze, you know, if it went up like 200-300% in a, like how it did back in 2024, like, sure, maybe then I would probably take some profits, maybe. I would probably sell calls more likely, because the calls would be super overvalued. So that would be the more likely thing that's going to happen, but I'm never selling, so like, to even feel any emotion about it is pointless. Got a decent stake and beyond. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I joke. I don't like Beyond, though. I never have. Even when it was like $100 stock, it was never like an interesting thing to me. I have the same symptom. I think it's just, it's funny because I used to care so much about like the daily moves of the stock market and like placing a trade. Like, I used to care so much about this. I still love stocks, you know? It's still like my number one passion. But I just don't care anymore. It's like, I bet way too much money in my lifetime to like be worried about hitting a small trade on something or hitting a sports bet or anything. It's like millionaire or bust at this point, realistically. Millionaire or bust. That's at the point I'm at. Like if it's not gonna turn me into a millionaire, they might as well just take it to zero. Well, that was a pussy ass breakout. Got shorted on 24.20 again. It's pretty wild. Definitely reflects the short interest. People are shorting here, which is positive for me. Keep on shorting it, please. Why not? Also, if that 700% short interest thing is real, and what Burry is saying is real, that means there's just a bunch of paper-handed pussies still in this stock, and that the shares are trading hands way too many times. Bunch of wannabe traders trying to time the fucking market, basically. And the price action reflects that as well. You know, anytime this stock goes up, it gets sold off. It's either people are shorting the fuck out of it or little paper-handed babies are selling. Hey. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think it's paper hands more than short interest. Well, it's a mix of both because the short interest went up, so it's definitely a mix of both. If it wasn't short interest, the short interest wouldn't have went up. You know, if the short interest was going down, then I would agree with you. But it's definitely a mix of both. But 700% is no joke. If what Burry was saying is accurate, that's a lot of shares trading hands in a short amount of time. 7 times. Like, that's crazy. That's actually insane. Fine by me, though. I'm cool with both, really. Hopefully beyond reports today. I mean, I still care about Nvidia, and I'll still probably look into that. But mostly, honestly, I don't really care about Nvidia's business too much. It's mostly just the stock price, because I think Nvidia is going to be very pivotal at this moment. Because if it sells off like 10%, that's probably so bad for the entire market. But if it goes up even a little bit, it just goes to show how bullish the market truly is. So it's definitely going to be a pivotal day in the market, I would say, depending what Nvidia reports, or not really what they report, but how the stock reacts on the earnings. We have 20 more minutes till the market closes. Yippee. So excited. Can you feel the excitement in the air, Mr. Krabs? Can you feel it? Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs? Damn, crypto's still going up. Back about, damn, approaching 2.4 trillion. If GameStop doesn't sell off here in like 20 minutes, that's a pretty interesting close. Very interesting. Especially if there's news after hours of some sort. So many people are shorting here and selling. Man. If it closes here and there's news, or maybe not even news, but any sort of up move in after hours, like, crazy. Crazy if that happens. I don't think they'll announce the merger, but maybe they'll announce when the call is for the compensation package. Maybe they'll announce their earnings date. Who knows? I think the merger already happened, and they're just being hella hush. Or acquisition. It's not a merger. Merger is a little bit different. What's up, Ruben? How you doing, Ruben? And I don't think Ryan Cohen would do a merger, because then he wouldn't have full control. There'd be another person. So I don't think a merger would be a good thing. Actually, just buying something would be the best move. Buying it with shares. A weak ass breakout though. I am gonna start ending the streams after the earnings calls though, because 9 times out of 10 there's nobody here after the earnings call. So yeah, going forward. So we'll say our still got like 15 minutes till the market closes. There's nothing to talk about in that time. We've reviewed everything there is to review today. You know what I haven't seen in a long time? A Voidzilla video. I wonder when's the last time he posted. Oh look, Papa Meat posted. Papa Meat makes some good videos. Oh, it's about Harley riders. It's about Harley. Hell yeah. It's a sign. Just kidding. It's a sign. All in Harley. Not really. Not actually. But maybe. Yeah, I don't give a fuck if you come back, dude. Here, I'll ban you forever, so you can't come back. How about that? Little pussy. Betting 3K on Beyond Meat, and you don't even know when the earnings are? Yeah, good luck. Maybe try being educated. You just can't win with random people, bro. You just can't win. You answer their questions, they cry. You don't answer their questions, they cry. Like, everyone's such a little pussy these days. So stupid. Whatever happened to, like, manhood? Is everyone just a little baby these days? He didn't answer my question. Fucking pussy. Wouldn't expect anything else, though, from someone betting on a penny stock. I've banned so many people this month, dude. It's actually insane. I think I've banned more people this month than I've ever banned since we've been streaming. It's actually wild. It's actually wild. Yes, it is. It's wild. It's a wild card. You know? You know? Huh. How long have I been streaming? Not even 2 hours? We already ran out of stuff to talk about? That sucks. I might start starting the... I might start starting the stream a little bit later. Unless, like, something is actually happening. Or if there's news I actually care about. You know, maybe I'll get on a little bit sooner. But I'm probably going to start starting the stream later. Because it kind of sucks running out of things to talk about. And then I'm just sitting here waiting for an earnings report. And I'm sure it sucks for you guys, too. Maybe we'll just go back to like hour and a half streams. Well, beyond the, you know, still do the earnings reports, of course, but past few streams I have completely ran out of things to talk about very early. All right. I'm done with GameStop for now. If anything happens, let me know. Someone just walked in my house. Hold up. Okay. I thought it was March 10th. Where did you get that info from? Are you just making that up, or is that an actual thing you've seen? Because they literally have nothing on their investor relation website telling you when it is. So are you just making that up? Yep. Very exciting. Whoa. This is like I don't like anything Beyond makes, but a lot of this stuff looks gassed. Like those tacos look good, bro. I don't I don't really like this. They're just slideshow of dank ass food, but you know it's made with Beyond Meat, so you know it's not good. That's better. Let's look at the burger. Do they not have like whatever? We'll watch the dank food slideshow for now. Oh, there's the market closed. Market's closed. Get a sec filing. Hopefully they drop the earnings. Better than Nvidia. Beyond Met. Okay. Really exciting stuff here. I don't even know if it's going to report, so we'll see. Nvidia, obviously bullish, though. If you're bearish on Nvidia, you're basically bearish on the whole market. Nvidia still hasn't reported either. Nope, I don't remember you, my friend. So it's not a very classic line. Can't expect me to remember people who never come in here. Just saying. Or, I don't know why neither of these are reporting. This is kind of ridiculous. Oh. Looks like Nvidia reported. Oh, no, not yet. Slowest earnings reports. Should I buy Nvidia shares? You shouldn't go ask random people on the internet what to do with your money. That's all I'll say about that. Make decisions for yourself. And if you've been here before, you know what we talk about. So, not really a relevant question either way. Brother, how long does it take to report an earnings, man? This is insane. Isn't there other things reporting? Salesforce, Salesforce is down. TKO. TKO's down. What else is there? I don't even remember. I know there's other ones. Synops, Snowflake. There's a lot. Nvidia's just taking their sweet time. Same with Beyond. Where the hell did Beyond one go? There it is. Oh, this is insane. How is neither of these reporting? This is so dumb, dude. How is Nvidia not out? Like, I get Beyond, but how is Nvidia not out? I mean, everything else is down, so if Nvidia goes down, that's probably not good. Gotta be coming out in like 2 minutes, right? Come on, dude. I'll be back. Dude, how? How have they not reported yet? This makes no sense. Beyond, I don't even know if Beyond's reporting at this point. But Nvidia, how is Nvidia not reported yet? Yeah, that should be out. Makes no sense. Beyond should be out here soon. Oh, wait. It says Beyond's earnings are on March 4th on TradingView. But on the Yahoo calendar, it says it's today. Oh, penny stocks are garbage, dude. Can't even get an accurate representation of when they're going to report their earnings. Come on! One of them has to report. Yo, this is insane, bro. Dude. I don't know what to say about this. I can't believe it's not reporting. Let me see something. Yeah, I don't know. This is so dumb, dude. Looks like I changed all the info for nothing. This is such a joke, dude. This is so whack, dude. Oh my gosh, dude. Please report the earnings, dude. Come on. It's not that serious. I've never gotten frustrated at an earnings not reporting, but I'm kind of frustrated. Also not surprised. Most pivotal earnings in the market, most likely. Makes sense why they're taking so long. And then there's this penny stock nonsense. Don't even give you a date when they're reporting, they just randomly do it. Like, is Beyond even a real company? Like, for real? Is it even real? Obviously, I've seen it in stores, but is it even real? Yeah. Definitely going to starting the stream later. This is a joke. Literally nothing to talk about. Could read like other earnings reports and stuff, but Nvidia is honestly the only one that matters. Oops. Beyond Trash probably isn't reporting, most likely, from the looks of it. Unless they report at the same time or something. Don't look like Beyond Trash is gonna report either. Well, Nvidia should, here in like 2 minutes. But Beyond Trash, who knows? Who really knows? One of these need to report. Whatever one reports first. That's the one I'm going for. It's 2:30. How have they not reported? Bro, this is actually a joke. What, are they going to report like 5 minutes before the earnings call? Good lord. Chat's fucking dead. Really exciting. Doing my Rocket League training. You're actually playing Rocket League? Nice. Frickin' Rocket League. I haven't touched that game in a while. The spark came back for a little bit, but I don't know that I'm going to keep playing that game or not. Oh, there's Nvidia. Finally. Finally. It's up a little bit. That's good. There we go. Bullish market, baby. Unless it sells off here in like 10 minutes. Bullish market. Told you. Told you. Eat that, bears. Suck on that one. Everyone's sucking off Michael Burry, thinking he's smart when he's not. He was right about Palantir. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. He was right about Palantir, but being bearish on the market when it's clearly bullish is a complete joke. All right. Nvidia announces financial results for fourth quarter and fiscal 2026. Record quarterly revenue of $68.1 billion, up 20% from Q3, and up 73% from a year ago. Record quarterly data center revenue of $62.3 billion, up 22% from Q3, and up 75% from a year ago. Record full year revenue of $215.9 billion, up 65%. Nvidia today reported record revenue of fourth quarter ended January 25th, 2026 of $68.1 billion, up 20% from the previous quarter and up 73% from a year ago. Excuse me. For fiscal 2026, revenue was $215.9 billion, up 65% from a year ago. For the quarter, GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins were 75% and 75.2% respectively. For fiscal 2026, GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins were 71.1% and 71.3% respectively. For the quarter, GAAP and non-GAAP earnings per diluted share were 1.76 and 1.62. For fiscal 2026, GAAP and non-GAAP earnings per diluted share were 4.9 and 4.77. Computing demand is growing exponentially. The agentic AI inflection point has arrived. Grace Blackwell with NVLink is the king of inference today, delivering an order of magnitude lower cost per token, and Vera Rubin will extend the leadership even further, said Jensen Huang. Enterprise adoption of agents is skyrocketing. Our customers are racing to invest in AI compute, the factories powering the AI industrial revolution and their future growth. During fiscal 2026, Nvidia returned $41.1 billion to shareholders in the form of share repurchased and cash dividends. As of the end of fourth quarter, the company had $58.5 billion remaining under its share repurchase authorization. Nvidia will pay its next quarterly cash dividend of a penny per share on April 1st, 2026 to all shareholders of record on March 11th, 2026. A penny per share? A $4 trillion market, almost $5 trillion market cap, only paying a penny per share? Okay. Good lord. Is that all-time highs for Nvidia? Almost. You're like right there at all-time highs. Yeah, the market's so bearish. So bearish. Everyone listen to Michael Burry. He definitely knows what he's talking about. Beginning of the first quarter of fiscal 2027, Nvidia will include stock-based compensation expense and non-GAAP financial measures. Stock-based compensation is a foundational component of Nvidia's compensation to attract and retain world-class talent. Nvidia's outlook for the first quarter of fiscal 2027 is as follows. Revenue is expected to be $78 billion, plus or minus 2%. Nvidia is not assuming any data revenue, compute revenue from China in its outlook. GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins are expected to be 74.9 and 75%, plus or minus 50 basis points. inclusive of a 0.1% impact from stock-based compensation expense. GAAP and non-GAAP operating expenses are expected to be approximately $7.7 billion and $7.5 billion, respectively, inclusive of $1.9 billion of stock-based compensation expense. For the full year fiscal 2027, GAAP and non-GAAP tax rates are expected to be between 17% and 19%, excluding any discrete items and material changes to Nvidia's tax environment. Data center. Fourth quarter revenue was a record $62.3 billion, up 22% from the previous quarter and up 75% from a year ago. Driven by the major platform shifts, accelerated computing, and AI, full year revenue rose 68% to a record $193.7 billion. Unveiled the Nvidia Rubin platform. Hey, it's Rubin. The Nvidia Rubin platform, comprising 6 new chips to deliver up to 10x reduction in the inference token cost. Compared with the Nvidia Blackwell platform, cloud providers Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and Oracle Cloud Infrastructure will be among the first to deploy Vera Rubin-based instances. Announced that the NVIDIA BlueField 4 data processor powers the NVIDIA Inference Context Memory Storage Platform, a new class of AI-native storage infrastructure for the next frontier of AI. Announced a multi-year, multi-generational strategic partnership with Meta spanning on-premises, cloud and AI infrastructure, including the large-scale deployment of NVIDIA CPUs, networking, and millions of NVIDIA Blackwell and Rubin GPUs. Revealed that NVIDIA's Blackwell Ultra delivers up to 50x better performance and 35x lower cost for agentic AI compared with the NVIDIA Hopper platform, according to new semi-analyses Inference X benchmark results. Expanded AWS partnership with new technology integrations across the interconnect technology, cloud infrastructure, open models, and physical AI. Revealed that leading inference providers, including Bastatine, Deep Infra, Fireworks AI, and Together AI, cut AI costs up by up to 10x with open source models on NVIDIA Blackwell. Debuted the NVIDIA Nemotron 3 family of open models, data, and libraries designed to power transparent, efficient, and specialized agentic AI development across industries. Release new open models, data, and tools for agentic AI, physical AI, and autonomous vehicle development. Announced an investment in deep technology partnership with Anthropic, which is scaling its Claude model on Microsoft Azure, powered by NVIDIA systems. Entered into a non-exclusive licensing agreement with Grok, G-R-O-Q, not Tesla's Grok, to accelerate AI inference at global scale. Strengthened a collaboration with CoreWeave to accelerate the build-out of more than 5 gigawatts of AI factories by 2030. Announced an expanded strategic partnership with Synopsys to revolutionize engineering and design across industries. Announced a co-innovation AI lab with Lilly to reinvent drug discovery in the age of AI. Announced a major expansion of NVIDIA BioNeMo, an open development platform that enables lab-in-loop workflows to develop breakthroughs in AI-driven biology and drug discovery. Joined the U.S. Department of Energy's Genesis mission as a private industry partner to support U.S. AI leadership in key areas including energy, scientific research, and national security. Launched the NVIDIA Earth-2 family of open models, the world's first fully open accelerated set of models and tools for AI weather. Revealed that India's global system integrators Infosys, Persistent, Tech Mahindra, and Wipro are building the next wave of enterprise agents with NVIDIA AI. Partner with global industry software leaders Cadence, Simon, I don't know, it's either Siemens or Simons, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm going to just say Siemens because it's funnier. And Synopsys, and India's largest manufacturers to drive India's AI boom, using applications accelerated by NVIDIA CUDA-X and NVIDIA Omniverse libraries. Gaming and AI PC, Fourth quarter gaming revenue was 3.7 billion, up 47% from a year ago. Wait, I thought gaming was dying. Driven by strong Blackwell demand and down 13% from the previous quarter, as channel inventory naturally moderated following a season of strong holiday demand. Full year revenue rose 41% to a record 16 billion. Announced Nvidia DLSS 4.5, delivered major AI powered advances in graphic quality. Oh yeah, we gotta love that. Gotta love generating fake pixels with AI. That's what we all want. Launched Nvidia G-Sync Pulsar, extending the ultimate gaming display platform with new levels of motion clarity in esports. Advanced Nvidia RTX AI performance and adoption, delivering up to 35% faster large language model inference in leading AI PC frameworks, and up to 3x performance in AI generated visuals. Professional visualization. Fourth quarter revenue was 1.3 billion, up 74% from previous quarter, and up 159% from a year ago, driven by exceptional demand for Blackwell. Full year revenue rose 70% to a record 3.2 billion. Launched the Nvidia RTX Pro 5000 72GB Blackwell GPU to power larger models and agentic workflows. Expanded global availability of Nvidia's DGX Spark for the latest open models and delivered updates for improved performance. Automotive and robotics. Fourth quarter automotive was 604 million, up 2% from the previous quarter, and up 6% from a year ago, driven by continued adoption of Nvidia's self-driving platforms. Full year revenue rose 39% to a record 2.3 billion. Unveiled the Nvidia Alpha Mayo family of OpenAI models, simulation tools, and data sets designed to accelerate the next era of safe, reasoning-based autonomous vehicles development. Partner with Mercedes-Benz on all-new Mercedes-Benz CLA, which introduces enhanced Level 2 driver assistance powered by NVIDIA Drive AV software, AI infrastructure, and accelerated compute. Announced the NVIDIA Drive Hyperion ecosystem is expanding to include Tier 1 suppliers, automotive integrators, and sensor partners including Ava, Aumovio, Estimo, Arbe, Bosch, Hesay, Magna, Omnivision, Quanta, Sony, and ZF Group. Announced new NVIDIA Cosmos and NVIDIA Isaac Groot open models, frameworks and AI infrastructure for physical AI. Global industry leaders include Boston Dynamics, Caterpillar, Franka Robotics, Humanoid, LG Electronics, and Neura Robotics are using the NVIDIA robotics stack. Expanded a strategic partner with Siemens to build the industrial AI operating system. Announced a strategic partner with Dassault Systems to build an industrial AI platform powering virtual twins. Okay. God damn, they made 42 billion this last year. Holy shit. Or that was just a quarter. 42 billion in a quarter. 43 billion in a quarter, basically. 120 billion total. That's fucking crazy, dude. That's a lot. No wonder it's the top company. No wonder it's the top company. And people are bearish. Think about that. They made 120 billion in net income last year and people are bearish. Okay. Okay. Sure, the stock's probably overvalued, 206 billion in assets. The stock's probably overvalued, but still. That's massive, bro. They added, what is that? Like 80 billion of shareholder equity in 1 year? That's crazy. That's crazy. Where's the... Where's the earnings call? There it is. Not up very much, though. Definitely could sell off tomorrow. If it does, then disregard everything I said. Disregard everything I said if it does sell off tomorrow. But as of right now, it stands. Anyone bearish is doesn't really know what they're talking about. I'm sure I'll eat those words tomorrow, but it doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. But yeah. Like I said, after this earnings call's over, I will be leaving, so because nobody's ever here after the earnings calls end anyway. So if you are, just know, as soon as the earnings call's over, I'm gonna end the stream. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, though. Is there any earnings tomorrow that matters? Dell? Oh, Block. There's a few things tomorrow. I'll look more into it later. I think the earnings hype is slowly residing. All the stocks people care about have already reported for the most part. Except Beyond. Did Beyond ever report? Or did that not end up happening? Nope, don't look like it. Don't look like it. Didn't last time Nvidia sell off during the call, though? I don't remember exactly, but I think last time it sold off during the call. But hey, I mean, stock we actually talk about is up. That's a first. Basically, every earnings report we've done, the stocks have been selling off. So that's a first. Oh, man. I'm cooked. Time is dragging today, dude. Sorry, the streams the him stream was kind of funny, but the streams this week have sucked, so I'm sorry for that. I should probably take a break, honestly. We'll see. We'll see. Come on, Jensen. Get your shit together. Crypto still going up? No. Well, altcoins are going up still. You gonna take a break? I don't know. Most likely no, but I've been thinking about it. Just, I don't know. Sometimes it just seems like a pointless grind. Like I posted quite a bit of stream clips this month. You know, I just barely started posting the shorts, but I don't know, it just seems like nothing I do helps the stream grow. And I know that's kind of how the grind goes, you know, just it's just a grind and then one day it works out, maybe. But I don't know, there's just so many moments I just feel like I'm wasting my time. But then there's moments that, you know, I'm glad I'm doing it. But it's just I don't know. Like how long can I realistically do this? We'll see. I mean, if GameStop actually goes up and actually works out, I can do this forever, but when nothing's happening and the stream's not growing, it's tough to say how long I could keep doing this. Why are you just spamming random things in the chat, Rosh? What's up? I don't know what any of that means. I don't know how to decode what your random letters you're typing. This earnings call starts in 3 minutes, so if it's something, let me know. Because once the earnings call starts, I usually don't interrupt it. People get upset when you interrupt the earnings call, which I probably just shouldn't care, but I want to give people a good viewing experience, I suppose. The people who are actually here for this. For Jensen Huang, get your Kalshi bets. What jacket? Oh wait, it's not a video, I don't think. I don't think it's a video. I think it's just a call. So it's not a very good Kalshi bet. It's crazy that Nvidia is about to hit an all-time high again, though. You're like right there. I think only like a couple bucks away. Oh, sorry. All right. Where's the sound? There we go. I heard him. I heard him sniff. He's hitting that line before he gets on the earnings call. Yeah, that's some good shit. That's some good shit.
Good afternoon. My name is Sarah, and I will be your
Enjoy.
conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to NVIDIA's fourth quarter earnings call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star, followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you would like to withdraw your question, press star 1 again. Thank you. Toshiya Hari, you may begin your conference.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to NVIDIA's conference call for the fourth quarter of fiscal 2026. With me today from NVIDIA are Jensen Huang, President and Chief Executive Officer, and Colette Kress, Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer. Our call is being webcast live on NVIDIA's Investor Relations website. The webcast will be available for replay until the conference call to discuss our financial results for the first quarter of fiscal 2027. The content of today's call is NVIDIA's property. It can't be reproduced or transcribed without our prior written consent. During this call, we may make forward-looking statements based on current expectations. These are subject to a number of significant risks and uncertainties, and our actual results may differ materially. For a discussion of factors that could affect our future financial results and business, please refer to the disclosure in today's earnings release, our most recent Forms 10-K and 10-Q, and the reports that we may file on Form 8-K with the Securities and Exchange Commission. All our statements are made as of today, February 25th, 2026, based on information currently available to us. Except as required by law, we assume no obligation to update any such statements. During this call, we will discuss non-GAAP financial measures. You can find a reconciliation of these non-GAAP financial measures to GAAP financial measures in our CFO commentary, which is posted on our website. With that, let me turn the call over to Colette.
Thanks, Toshio. We delivered another outstanding quarter with record revenue, operating income, and free cash flow. Total revenue of $68 billion was up 73% year over year, accelerating from Q3. Growth on a sequential basis was also a record as we added $11 billion in data center revenue across a diverse and expanding set of customers, including cloud providers, hyperscalers, AI model makers, enterprises, and sovereign nations. Demand for our Blackwell architecture, extreme co-designed at data center scale, continues to strengthen as inference deployments grow, in addition to training. The transition to accelerated computing and the infusion of AI across existing hyperscale workloads continue to fuel our growth. Agentic and physical AI applications built on increasingly smarter and multimodal models are beginning to drive our financial performance. On a full-year basis, data center generated revenue of $194 billion, up 68% year over year. We have now scaled our data center business by nearly 13x since the emergence of ChatGPT in fiscal 2023. We look ahead, we expect sequential revenue growth throughout calendar 2026, exceeding what was included in the $500 billion Blackwell and Rubin revenue opportunity we shared last year. We believe we have inventory and supply commitments in place to address future demand, including shipments extending into calendar 2027. Every data center is power constrained. Customers make critical architectural decisions based on performance per watt, given these constraints and the need to maximize AI factory revenue. SemiAnalysis declared Nvidia Inference King, as recent results from Inference X reinforced our inference leadership, with GB300 NVL72 achieving up to 50x performance per watt and 35x lower cost per token compared with Hopper. And continuous optimization of CUDA software helped deliver up to 5 times better performance on GB200 NVL72 just within 4 months. NVIDIA produces the lowest cost per token, and data centers running on NVIDIA generate the highest revenues. Our pace of innovation, particularly at our scale, is unmatched, fueled by an annual R&D budget approaching $20 billion and our ability to extreme co-design across compute and networking across chips, systems, algorithms, and softwares. We intend to deliver X factor leaps in performance per watt every generation and extend our leadership position over the long term. Q4 data center revenue of $62 billion increased 75% year over year and 22% sequentially, driven primarily by sustained strength in Blackwell and the Blackwell Ultra ramp. With NVIDIA infrastructure in high demand, even Hopper and much of the 6-year-old Ampere-based products are sold out in the cloud. Nearly a year has passed since the release of our Grace Blackwell NVL72 systems. Today, nearly 9 gigawatts of infrastructure on Blackwell are deployed and consumed by the major cloud service providers, hyperscalers, AI model makers, and enterprises. Networking, a cornerstone of our data center scale infrastructure offering, was a standout this quarter, generating $11 billion in revenue, up more than 3.5x year over year. Demand for our scale up and scale out technologies reached record levels, both growing double digits sequentially, driven by strong adoption of NVLink, Spectrum-X Ethernet, and InfiniBand. On a year-over-year basis, growth was driven primarily by NVLink 72 scale-up switches, as Grace Blackwell systems accounted for roughly 2/3 of data center revenue in the quarter. NVLink scale-up fabric has revolutionized computing and demonstrates the power of extreme co-design across all of the chips of the supercomputer and the full stack. In Q4, we announced that we will enable AWS with NVLink to integrate with their custom silicon. Momentum is strong with our Spectrum-X Ethernet scale up and scale across networking as customers work to unify distributed data centers into integrated gigascale AI factories. For the full year, our networking business exceeded $31 billion in revenue, up more than 10x compared to fiscal 2021, the year we acquired Mellanox. Our demand profile is broad, diverse, and expanding beyond just chatbots. First, there is a fundamental platform shift from classical machine learning to generative AI. Strong evidence of ROI as hyperscalers upgrade massive traditional workloads to generative AI, including search, ad generation, and content recommender systems, is encouraging our largest customers to accelerate their capital spending. For example, at Meta, advancements in their GEM model drove a 3.5 increase in ad clicks on Facebook and more than 1% gain in conversations on Instagram, translating into meaningful revenue growth. With the same Nvidia infrastructure, Meta Superintelligence Labs can train and deploy their frontier agentic AI systems. Frontier agentic systems have reached an inflection point. Claude Code, Claude Cowork, and OpenAI Codex have achieved useful intelligence. Adoption is skyrocketing, and tokens are profitable, driving extreme urgency to scale up compute. Compute directly translates to intelligence and revenue growth. Analyst expectations for 2026 CapEx across the top 5 cloud providers and hyperscalers, who collectively account for a little over 50% of our data center revenue, are up nearly $120 billion since the start of the year and approaching $700 billion. We continue to expect the transition of classic data center workloads to GPU-accelerated computing and the use of AI to enhance today's hyperscale workloads and contribute toward roughly half of our long-term opportunity. Every country will build and operate some parts of its AI infrastructure, just like with electricity and internet today. In fiscal year 2026, our sovereign AI business more than tripled year over year and over $30 billion, driven primarily by customers based in Canada, France, the Netherlands, Singapore, and the UK. Over the long run, we expect our sovereign opportunity to grow at least in line with the AI infrastructure market, as countries spend on AI proportional to their GDP. While small amounts of H200 products for China-based customers were approved by the US government, we have yet to generate any revenue, and we do not know whether any imports will be allowed into China. Our competitors in China, bolstered by recent IPOs, are making progress and have the potential to disrupt the structure of the global AI industry over the long term. To sustain its leadership position in AI compute, America must engage every developer and be the platform for choice for every commercial business, including those in China. We will continue to engage with the US and China governments and advocate for America's ability to compete around the world. We unveiled the Rubin platform last month at CES, comprised of 6 new chips: the Vera CPU, Rubin GPU, NVLink 6 switch, ConnectX-9 SuperNIC, Bluefield 4 DPU, and Spectrum 6 Ethernet switch. The platform will train MOE models with 1/4 the number of GPUs and reduce inference token costs by up to 10x compared to Blackwell. We shipped our first Vera Rubin samples to customers earlier this week, and we remain on track to commence production shipments in the second half of the year. Based on its modular, cable-free tray design, Rubin will deliver improved resiliency and serviceability relative to Blackwell. We expect every cloud model builder to deploy Vera Rubin. Moving to gaming. Gaming revenue of $3.7 billion increased 47% year-on-year, driven by strong Blackwell demand and improved supply. GeForce RTX is the leading platform for PC gamers, creators, and developers. In Q4, we added several new technologies and advancements, including DLSS 4.5, which uses AI to bring game visuals to a new level. G-Sync Pulsar, bringing incredible clear graphics even in motion, and 35% faster LLM inference across leading AI PC frameworks. Looking ahead, while end demand for our products remains strong and channel inventory levels are healthy, we expect supply constraints to be the headwind to gaming in Q1 and beyond. For professional visualization, it crossed the $1 billion mark for the first time, with revenue of $1.3 billion, up 159% year-over-year and 74% sequentially. During the quarter, we launched the RTX Pro 5000 Blackwell workstation with 72 gigabytes of fast memory for AI developers running LLMs and agentic workflows. Automotive revenue of $604 million was up 6% year-over-year and was driven by robust demand for self-driving solutions. At CES, we introduced Alpamayo, the world's first open portfolio of reasoning, vision, language, action models, simulation blueprints, and datasets enabling vehicles that can think. The first passenger car featuring Alpamayo, built on Nvidia Drive, will be on the road soon in the new Mercedes-Benz CLA. Physical AI is here, having already contributed north of $6 billion in Nvidia revenue in fiscal year 2026. Robotaxi rides are growing exponentially with commercial fleets from Waymo, Tesla, Uber, WeRide, and Zoox. And many others are expected to scale from thousands of vehicles in 2025 to millions over the next decade, creating a market poised to generate hundreds of billions of dollars of revenue. This expansion will demand orders of a magnitude more compute, with every major OEM and service provider developing on NVIDIA's platform. We continue to advance robotics development with the new NVIDIA Cosmos and Isaac Group, open models, frameworks, and NVIDIA's powered robots and autonomous machines for leading companies, including Boston Dynamics, Caterpillar, Franco Robotics, LG Electronics, and Neuro Robotics. To accelerate industrial physical AI adoption, we also announced new expanding partnerships with Dassault Systems, Siemens, and Synopsys to bring NVIDIA AI infrastructure, Omniverse digital twins, world models, and CUDA-X libraries to millions of researchers, designers, and engineers building the world's industries. Let's move to the rest of the P&L. GAAP gross margin was 75%, and non-GAAP gross margin was 75.2%, increasing sequentially as Backwell continued to ramp. GAAP operating expenses were up 16% sequentially and up 21% on a non-GAAP basis related to new product introductions and compute and infrastructure costs. Non-GAAP effective tax rate for the fourth quarter was 15.4%, below our outlook for the quarter, primarily due to the impact of a one-time tax benefit. Inventory grew 8% quarter over quarter, while purchase commitments also increased significantly as we have strategically secured inventory and capacity to meet demand beyond the next several quarters. This is further out in time than usual and reflects the longer demand visibility we have. While we expect tightness in the supply for our advanced architectures to persist, we remain confident in our ability to capitalize on the growth opportunity ahead with our scale, expansive supply chain, and the long-standing partnerships continuing to serve us well. We generated free cash flow of $35 billion in Q4 and $97 billion in fiscal year 2026. For the year, we returned $41 billion, or 43% of free cash flow, to our shareholders in the form of share repurchases and dividends. We continue to invest in our technology and our ecosystem to cultivate market development, drive long-term growth, and ultimately yield total shareholder returns superior to the market or our peer group. Importantly, we will continue to run a strategic and disciplined process as it relates to our investments, and we remain committed to returning capital to our shareholders. Let me turn to the outlook for the first quarter. Starting this quarter, we will be including stock-based compensation expense in our non-GAAP results. Stock-based compensation is a foundational component of our compensation program to attract and retain world-class talent. Let me first start with revenue. Total revenue is expected to be $78 billion, plus or minus 2%. We expect most of our growth to be driven by data center. Consistent with last quarter, we are not assuming any data center compute revenue from China in our outlook. GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins are expected to be 74.9% and 75% respectively, plus or minus 50 basis points. For the full year, we continue to see gross margins in the mid-70s. We will keep you updated on our progress as we prepare for the Vera Rubin transition. GAAP and non-GAAP operating expenses are expected to be approximately $7.7 billion and $7.5 billion, respectively, including stock-based compensation expense of $1.9 billion. For the full year, we expect non-GAAP operating expenses to grow in the low 40s on a year-over-year basis as we continue to invest in our expanding opportunity set. For the full year, fiscal year 27, we expect GAAP and non-GAAP tax rates to be in between 7% and 19%, excluding any discrete items and material changes to our tax environment. With that, let me turn the call over to Jensen. I think he has a few words for us.
This quarter, we significantly deepened and expanded our partnerships with leading frontier model makers. We recently celebrated OpenAI's launch of GPT 5.3 Codex, trained with and inferencing on Grace Blackwell NVLink 72 systems. GPT 5.3 Codex can take on long-running tasks that involve research, tool use, and complex execution. 5.3 Codex is deployed broadly inside Nvidia. Our engineers love it. We continue to work with OpenAI toward a partnership agreement and believe we are close. We are thrilled with our ongoing partnership with OpenAI, a once-in-a-generation company we've had the pleasure of partnering with since their first days. Meta Superintelligence Labs is scaling up at lightning speed. Last week, we announced that Meta is deploying millions of Blackwells and Rubin GPUs, Nvidia CPUs, and Spectrum X Ethernet for training and inference. This quarter, we announced a partnership with Anthropic and a $10 billion investment in their company. Anthropic will train and inference on Grace Blackwell and Vera Rubin systems. Anthropic's Claude Codework agent platform is revolutionary and has opened the floodgates for enterprise AI adoption. Between Claude Codework and OpenClaw, compute demand is skyrocketing, and ChatGPT moment of agentic AI has arrived. With partnerships spanning Anthropic, Meta, OpenAI, and xAI, NVIDIA deployed across every cloud, and with our ability to build full stack AI infrastructure from the ground up or support them in the cloud. We're uniquely positioned to partner with frontier model builders at every stage: training, inference, and AI factory scale out. Finally, we recently entered into a non-exclusive licensing agreement with Grok for its low latency inference technology and welcomed a team of brilliant engineers to NVIDIA. As we did with Mellanox, we will extend NVIDIA's architecture with Grok's innovations to enable new levels of AI infrastructure performance and value. We look forward to sharing more at GTC next month. Okay, back to you.
We will now transition to Q&A. Operator, please poll for questions.
At this time, I would like to remind everyone, in order to ask a question, press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. We'll pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster. Your first question comes from Vivek Arya with Bank of America Securities. Your line is open.
Thanks for taking my question. I think you mentioned that you now have growth visibility into calendar 27 also, and I think your purchase commitments kind of reflect that confidence. But Jensen, I'm curious, when you look at your top cloud customers, cloud CapEx close to $700 billion this year, many investors are concerned that it would be harder for this level to grow into next year. And for several of them, their cash flow generation capability is also getting compressed. So I know you're very confident about your roadmap, right, and your purchase commitments and whatnot, but how confident are you about your customers' ability to continue to grow their CapEx? And if their CapEx doesn't grow, can NVIDIA still find a way to grow in that envelope? Thank you.
I am confident in their cash flow growing. And the reason for that is very simple. We have now seen the inflection of agentic AI and the usefulness of agents across the world in enterprises everywhere. You're seeing incredible compute demand because of it. In this new world of AI, compute is revenues. Without compute, there's no way to generate tokens. Without tokens, there's no way to grow revenues. So in this new world of AI, compute equals revenues. And I am certain that at this point, with the productive use of Codex and Claude Code and the excitement around Claude Cowork and just the incredible enthusiasm about OpenClaw and the enterprise versions of them. All of the enterprise ISVs who are now working on agentic systems on top of their tools platforms. I'm certain at this point that we are at the inflection point. We've reached the inflection point, and we're generating profitable tokens that are productive for customers and profitable for the cloud service providers. And so the simple logic of it, the simple way to think about it is computing has changed. What used to be software running on computers, modest amount of computers, call it $300 or $400 billion worth of CapEx each year, has now gone into AI. And AI, in order to generate tokens, you need compute capacity. And that translates directly to growth, and that translates directly to revenues.
Your next question comes from Joe Moore with Morgan Stanley. Your line is open.
Great, thank you, and congratulations on the numbers. You talked about some of the strategic investments that you've made into Anthropic and potentially OpenAI, CoreWeave as well, but also partners, Intel, Nokia, Synopsys. You're clearly at the center of everything. Can you talk about the role of those investments and kind of how do you view the balance sheet as a tool to kind of grow NVIDIA's position in the ecosystem and participate in that growth?
As you know, fundamentally at the core of everything NVIDIA is our ecosystem. That's what everybody loves about our business. The richness of our ecosystem. Just about every startup in the world is working on NVIDIA's platform. We're in every cloud, we're in every on-prem data center, we're all over the world's edge and robotic systems. Thousands of AI natives are built on top of NVIDIA. We want to take the great opportunity that we have as we're in the beginning of this new computing era, this new computing platform shift, to put everybody on NVIDIA. Everything is already built on CUDA, and so we're starting from a really terrific starting point. But as we build out the entire AI ecosystem, whether it's in AI for language or physical AI or AI physics or biology or robotics or manufacturing, we want all of these ecosystems to be built on top of NVIDIA. And this is such a wonderful opportunity for us to invest into the ecosystem across the entire stack. Our ecosystem is also richer today than it used to be. We used to be largely a computing platform on GPUs, but now we're a computing AI infrastructure company, and we have computing platforms on, well, every aspect of that. And everything from computing to AI models to networking to our DPU, all of that has computing stacks on top of it. And as I mentioned before, whether it's in enterprise or in manufacturing, industrial, or science or robotics, each one of these ecosystems have different stacks. And we want to make sure that we continue to invest into our ecosystem. So our investments are focused very squarely, strategically on expanding and deepening our ecosystem reach.
Your next question comes from Harlan Sur with JP Morgan. Your line is open.
Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my question. Networking continues to rise as a percentage of your overall data center profile, right? Through fiscal 26, your networking revenues accelerated on a year-over-year basis every single quarter, right? With 3.6x growth, as you guys mentioned, year-over-year growth in Q4. Obviously, on the strength of your scale-up and scale-out networking product portfolio, I seem to remember that first half of last year, your annualized run rate on your Spectrum-X Ethernet switching platform was around $10 billion annualized. It looks like that may have stepped up to around $11-12 billion in the second half of last year. Jensen, looking at your order book, especially with Spectrum-X GS, upcoming 102T Spectrum-6 switching platforms launching soon, where is the Spectrum run rate trending now and as you foresee exiting sort of this calendar year?
Yeah, as you know, we see ourselves as an AI infrastructure company, and the AI computing infrastructure includes CPUs, GPUs, and we invented NVLink to scale up the one computing node into a giant computing rack. We invented the idea of a rack scale computer. We don't ship nodes of computers, we ship racks of computers. And that NVLink switch scale up system is then scaled out using Spectrum-X and InfiniBand. We support both. And then further, we also scale across data centers using Spectrum-X scale across. And so the way we think about networking is really an extension. We offer everything openly so that people could decide to mix and match in different scale and however they would like to integrate it into their bespoke data center. But in the final analysis, it's all one big part of our platform. And the invention of NVLink really turbocharged our networking business. Every rack comes with 9 nodes of switches, and each one of them has 2 chips in it and in the future they'll have more. And so the amount of switching that we do per rack is really quite incredible. We're also now the largest networking company in the world. And if you look at Ethernet, we came into the Ethernet market about a couple of years ago into Ethernet switching. And I think that we're probably the largest Ethernet networking company in the world today, and surely will be soon. And so Spectrum-X Ethernet has been a home run for us. But we're open to however people want to do networking. Some people just really love the low latency and the scale-up capability of InfiniBand, and we will continue to support that, of course. And some people love to integrate their networking across their data center based on Ethernet. And we created an Ethernet capability that extends Ethernet with artificial intelligence way of processing in the data center, and we're incredibly good at that. And our Spectrum-X performance really shows it. The difference of when you built a $10 billion or $20 billion AI factory, the difference of 10%, and it could be easily 20% on the effectiveness and the utilization of your network for your data center, that translates to real money. And so NVIDIA's networking business is really, really growing fast. And it's, I think it's just because we built the AI infrastructure so effectively, and the AI infrastructure business is growing incredibly fast.
Your next question comes from CJ Muse with Cantor Fitzgerald. Your line is open.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for taking the question. I guess with CPX for large context windows and Grok likely adding a decode-specific solution, curious how we should think about your future roadmap. Should we be thinking about customized silicon either by workload or customer as an increasing focus by NVIDIA, particularly helped by your move to a dielet architecture? Thanks so much.
Everybody should want to push out dielet as long as they can. And the reason for that is because every time you cross a dielet, you have a dielet, you have to cross an interface. Every time you cross an interface, you add latency, you add power unnecessarily. We're not allergic to dielet. We use dielets already, but we try to use dielets only when we absolutely have no choice but to do so. And so if you look at the Grace Blackwell architecture and the Rubin architecture, we use two giant reticle limited dies and we abut them. And that reduces the amount of architecture crossing. The dielet tax shows up in the architecture effectiveness of the competitors. If you look at NVIDIA, people call it our software advantage. But where software starts and architecture starts and ends is kind of hard to tell. It's, our software is effective because our architecture is so good. And so the CUDA architecture is unquestionably more effective, more efficient, delivers more performance per flop, per watt than any computing architecture out there. And it's because of the way we architect. With respect to how we think about Grok and the low latency decoder, I've got some great ideas that I'd like to share with you at GTC. But the simple idea is that our infrastructure is incredibly versatile because of CUDA, and we're going to continue to do that. All of our GPUs are architecturally compatible, which means that when I'm working on optimizing models today for Blackwell, all of that work and all of that dedication to optimizing software stacks and new models also benefit Hopper and also benefit Ampere. It's the reason why A100 continues to feel fresh and continues to stay performant years after we've deployed it into the world. Architecture compatibility allows us to do that. It allows us to invest enormously in software engineering and optimization, knowing that our entire install base in the cloud, on-prem, everywhere, from generations of architectures of GPUs will all benefit. And so we'll continue to do that, and allows us to extend the useful life, allows us to have innovation, flexibility, and velocity, which translates to performance, and very importantly, performance per dollar and performance per watt for our customers. And so what we'll do with Grok is you'll come to see GTC. But what we'll do is we'll extend our architecture with Grok as an accelerator in very much the ways that we extended NVIDIA's architecture with Mellanox.
The next question comes from Stacy Rasgon with Bernstein Research. Your line is open.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my questions. Colette, I wanted to dig a little bit into the call for sequential growth through the year. So, I mean, you grew this quarter more than $10 billion sequentially in data center, and the guide seems to imply, the bulk of the increase, $10 billion sequential in data center. So, how do you see that as we go through the year, especially as Rubin ramps into the back half? Blackwell's been a pretty massive acceleration for sequential growth. Should we expect something similar as we get to Rubin? And then I was also just hoping you could comment on your expectations for gaming. I understand the memory issues and everything else. Do you think gaming can still grow year over year in fiscal 27, or will that be under more pressure given memory? So those two questions, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Stacy. Let me start with the revenue going forward. Again, we're trying to look at revenue quarter by quarter. As you think about the full year, we are absolutely going to be still selling and providing Blackwell, probably at the same time that we're also seeing Vera Rubin come to market. This is a very great architecture that helps them just today, quickly standing up, and have already planned on many different orders across the different customers to provide that. It's too early yet to determine how much in terms of that Vera Rubin, that beginning ramp will start in the second half, and we'll get through it. But no confusion in terms of the strong demand and the interest. We do expect pretty much every single customer to be purchasing Vera Rubin. The question is, how soon are we in market, and how soon are they able to stand that up in terms of in their data centers? That was your first part. The second part was focusing on our gaming. As much as we would love to have additional more supply, we do believe for a couple quarters, it is going to be very tight. If things improve by the end of the year, there is an opportunity to think about what that is from a year-over-year growth. But it's still too early for us to know at this time, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Your next question comes from Atif Malik with Citi. Your line is open.
Thank you for taking my question. Jensen, I'm curious if you can touch on the importance of CUDA, as now more of the investment dollars in AI are coming from inference workloads.
Oh, without CUDA, we wouldn't know what to do with inference. The entire stack from TensorRT LLM that we introduced a few years ago, which is still the most performant inference stack in the world, optimizing it for NVLink requires us to discover and invent new parallelization algorithms that sits on top of CUDA to distribute the workload and the inferencing to take advantage of the aggregate bandwidth across NVLink 72. NVLink 72 has enabled us to deliver generationally 50 times more performance per watt. It's just an incredible leap, and it's sensible. NVLink 72 is a great invention. It was hard to do. The creation of the switching technology, disaggregating the switches, building the system racks, all of that, we did it all in plain sight, and everybody knew how hard it was for us to do. And but the results are incredible. So performance per watt is 50 times, performance per dollar 35 times. And so the leap in inference is incredible. It's very important. It's really important to realize that inference equals revenues now for our customers. Because agents are generating so many tokens and the results are so effective, when the agents are coding, it's off generating thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, because they're running for, minutes to hours. And so these systems, these agentic systems, are spawning off different agents working as a team. The number of tokens that are being generated is really, really gone exponential. And so we need to inference at a much higher speed. And when you're inferencing at a much higher speed, and each one of those tokens are dollarized, it directly translates into revenues. And so inference performance equals revenues for our customers. For the data centers, inference tokens per watt translates directly to the revenues of the CSPs. And the reason for that is because everybody is power limited. And so, I mean, no matter how many data centers you have, each data center, 100 megawatts or 1 gigawatt has power limits. So the architecture that has the best performance per watt translates, because each token, the performance tokens per watt, each token is dollarized. Tokens per watt translates to dollars per watt, which translates in a gigawatt directly to revenues. And so you could see that every CSP understands this now, every hyperscaler understands this, that CapEx translates to compute. Compute with the right architecture translates to maximizing revenues, and compute equals revenues. Without investing capacity today, without investing in compute, there cannot be revenue growth. And that I think everybody understands. Compute equals revenues. Choosing the right architecture is incredibly important. It's more than strategic now. It directly affects their earnings. And choosing the right architecture, the one with the best performance per watt, is literally everything.
Your next question comes from Ben Reitzes with Melius Research. Your line is open.
Yeah, hey, thanks. First, let me say kudos on including the stock comp in non-GAAP. I think that's a great move, but that isn't my question. My question's around gross margins and the sustainability of the mid-70s long term. Should we read into the visibility on supply being available into calendar 27 that it's sustainable until then? And then, Jensen, what about after that? Are there innovations in memory consumption you can unveil that makes us feel better about the ability to keep margins at that level for a long time? Thanks.
The single most important lever of our gross margins is actually delivering generational leaps to our customers. That is the single most important thing. If we could deliver generationally performance per watt that exceeds dramatically what Moore's Law can do, if we can deliver performance per dollar dramatically more than the cost of our systems, than the price of our systems, then we can continue to sustain our gross margins. That's the simple, most important concept. The reason why we're moving so fast is because, number one, the demand for tokens in the world as a result of the inflection points that we've gone through has gone completely exponential. I think we're all seeing that, to the point where even our 6-year-old GPUs in the cloud are completely consumed and the pricing is going up. And so we know that the amount of computation necessary, the amount of compute necessary for the modern way of doing software is growing exponentially. And so our strategy is to deliver an entire AI infrastructure every single year. This year, we introduced 6 new chips. Rubin next generation will do many new chips as well. And every single generation, we are committed to deliver many X factors of performance per watt and performance per dollar. And that pace and our ability to do extreme co-design allows us to deliver that value and that benefit to the customers. And that is the single most vital thing as it relates to our value delivered.
Your next question comes from Antoine Chkaiban with New Street Research. Your line is open.
Hi, thanks a lot for taking my question. I'd like to ask about space data centers, which some of your customers are considering. How feasible do you think that is, and on what kind of horizon? And what do the economics look like today, and how do you think that could evolve over time? Thank you.
Well, the economics are poor today, but it's going to improve over time. As you know, the way that space works is radically different than how it works down here. There's an abundance of energy, but solar panels are large, but there's plenty of space in space. The heat dissipation, it's cold in space. However, there's no airflow, and so the only way to dissipate heat is through conduction, and the radiators that you need to create are fairly large. Liquid cooling is obviously out of the question because it's heavy and freezes, and so the methods that we use here on Earth are a little different than the way we would do it in space. But there are many different computing problems that really wants to be done in space, and so Nvidia is already the world's first GPU in space, Hopper's in space, and one of the best use cases of GPUs in space is imaging, to be able to image at extremely high resolutions using of course optics and artificial intelligence, and to be able to do that computation of reprojection of different angles and be able to up-res and do noise reduction and just be able to image at very large, very high resolutions, extremely large scales, and very, very fast. It's hard to do that by sending petabytes and petabytes of imaging data back here on Earth and doing that work. It's easier just to do it out in space, and then ignore all of the data collected and processed until you see something interesting. And so artificial intelligence in space will have very good, very interesting applications.
Your next question comes from Mark Lipacis with Evercore ISI. Your line is open.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. I want to pick up with the comment you made on the script about revenue diversification. I believe, Colette, you said that hyperscalers were over 50% of revenues, but growth was led by the rest of your data center customers. And as a clarification, I just want to make sure I understood that. Does that imply your non-hyperscale customers grew faster? And if so, can you help us understand what are the non-hyperscalers doing different? Are they doing different things than the hyperscalers, or are the same things on a different scale? And do you expect this trend to continue? Would you expect your customer base to evolve to a point where non-hyperscalers become a bigger part of your the larger part of your business? Thank you.
Yes, let's see if we can help on this question. So when you think about our top 5, as we articulated as being our CSPs, our hyperscalers, and they have right now sat at about 50% of our total revenue. There's a big organization, therefore, of diversity of all different other types of companies that we are working with. That it goes through our AI model makers, that goes through our enterprises, that goes to supercomputing, it goes to our sovereigns. There's a lot of other different facts on there, but you are correct. It's a very fast-growing area as well. We have a strong position in terms of all of our different cloud providers on our platform, and now we also have an extreme diversity of different customers that we are seeing all the way across the world. And this will really benefit seeing that diversity and being able to serve all of those parts. Let me see if Jensen wants to add a bit more.
Yeah, this is one of the advantages that we have with our ecosystem, all built on top of CUDA. We're the only accelerated computing platform that is in every cloud, that's available through every single computer maker, available at the edge, and we're now cultivating telecommunications. Obviously, the future radios will all be AI-driven radios, and the future wireless network will also be a computing platform. That is a foregone conclusion, but somebody has to go and invent the technologies to make that possible. And we created a platform called Ariel to go do that. We're out in just about every single robot, every single self-driving car. Our ability, CUDA's ability, to have the benefit of the performance of specialized processors on the one hand, with the tensor cores inside our GPUs. On the other hand, the flexibility of CUDA allows us to solve language problems, computer vision problems, robotics problems, to biology problems, physics problems, and just about all kinds of AI and all kinds of computation algorithms. And so the diversity of our customer base is one of the greatest strengths that we have. The second thing, of course, is without our own ecosystem, even if our processor was programmable, if we didn't cultivate our ecosystem, and talking about some of the things that we're doing today, investing in our future ecosystem and continue to enhance our ecosystem. Without our ecosystem, it's hard for us to grow beyond what design wins we capture for somebody else's ecosystem. And so we could grow and expand our ecosystem very naturally because of our the platform that we created. And then lastly, one of the things that's really important is the partnerships that we have with OpenAI and Anthropic, with xAI, with Meta, now makes, and of course, just about every single open source in the world. There's 1.5 million AI models on Hugging Face. All of it runs on NVIDIA CUDA. And so an open source in totality probably represents the largest, it's the second largest model in the world. OpenAI is the largest. Second largest is probably all the collection of all the open sources. And so NVIDIA's ability to run all of that makes our platform super fungible, super easy to use, and really safe to invest into. And so that creates the diversity of customers and the diversity of the platforms and available in every single country, and because we support the whole world's ecosystem.
Your next question comes from Aaron Rakers with Wells Fargo. Your line is open.
Yeah, thanks for taking the question. I guess, sticking with the idea of the platform and extreme co-design, some of the news over this last quarter has obviously been NVIDIA's ability or push to bring Vera CPUs to market on a standalone solution basis. So I guess, Jensen, I'm curious of what's the importance that Vera plays in this architecture evolution as we move forward? Is this being driven more by the proliferation or the heterogeneity of inference workloads? I'm just curious of how you see that evolving for NVIDIA, particularly on a standalone CPU basis. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. And I'll tell you some more about it at GTC. But at the highest level, we made fundamentally different architecture decisions about our CPUs compared to the rest of the world's CPUs. It's the only data center CPU that supports LPDDR5. It is designed to be focused on very high data processing capabilities. And the reason for that is because most of the computing problems that we're interested in are data-driven, artificial intelligence being one. And the single-threaded performance in this ratio with bandwidth is just off the charts. And we made those architectural decisions because in the entire phase, the different phases of AI, from data processing, before you even do training, you have to do data processing. So you have data processing, pre-training, and in post-training now, the AIs are learning how to use tools. And the usage of tools, many of those tools run in CPU-only environments, or they run in CPU with GPU-accelerated environments. And Vera was designed to be an excellent CPU for post-training. And so some of the use cases in the entire pipeline of artificial intelligence includes using a lot of CPUs. We love CPUs as well as GPUs. And when you accelerate the algorithms to the limit as we have, Amdahl's law would suggest that you need really, really fast single-threaded CPUs. And that's the reason why we built Grace to be extraordinarily great at single-threaded performance. And Vera is off the charts better than that.
Your next question comes from Tim Arcuri with UBS. Your line is open.
Thanks a lot. Colette, I was wondering if you can talk about the deployment of capital. I know that you really jacked up the purchase commits, but it sounds like maybe you're over the hump on this, and you're going to probably generate about $100 billion in cash this year. So, and you know, pretty much no matter how good the results have been, the stock hasn't really gone up much. So I would think it's that you probably feel like this is a pretty good price to be, you know, buying back a bunch of it here. So I was wondering if you can talk about that, like, you know, question being, why not put a big stake in the ground and just, you know, have a huge share repo here? Thanks.
So thanks for the question. We look at our capital return very, very carefully, and we do believe that one of the most important things that we can do is really supporting the extreme ecosystem that's in front of us, that stems from everywhere, from our suppliers and the work that we need to do to assure that we can have the supply that's needed and help them from a capacity, all the way that we are in terms of the early developers of the AI solutions that will be on our platform. So we will continue to make this a very important part of our process and strategic investments. But of course, we are still repurchasing our stock. We are still with our dividend as well. And we will continue to find the right unique opportunities within the year for doing those different purchases.
Your final question comes from Jim Schneider with Goldman Sachs. Your line is open.
Thank you for taking my question. Jensen, you've previously outlined the potential to get to 3 to 4 trillion of data center capex by 2030, which implies a potential acceleration in growth rates, which you've sort of guided to this, at least this next quarter. The question is, what are some of the key application areas that you believe are most likely to drive that inflection? Is that physical AI, agentic, or something else? And do you still feel good about that $3 to $4 trillion envelope? Thank you.
Yeah, let's back that up and just reason through it from a few different ways. So the first way is on first principles, the way that software is done in the future using AI is token driven. And I think everybody talks about tokenomics and talks about data centers generating tokens, and inference is about generating tokens. And we generate tokens. You know, we were just talking about tokens, how NVIDIA's NVLink 72 enabled us to generate tokens at 50 times better performance per unit energy than the previous generation. And so token generation is at the center of almost everything that relates to software in the future and relates to computing. If you look at the way we use computing in the past, however, the amount of computation demand for software in the past is a tiny fraction of what is necessary in the future. And AI is here. AI is not going to go back. AI is only get better from here. And so if you think about it, and you said, okay, well, the world was investing about $300 to $400 billion a year in classical computing, and now AI is here, and the amount of computation necessary is 1,000 times higher than the way we used to do computing. The computing demand is just a lot higher. And so if we continue to believe there's value in it, and we'll talk about that in a second, then the world will invest to produce that token. And so the amount of token generation capability that the world needs is a lot more than $700 billion. And I'm fairly confident that we're going to continue to generate tokens. We're going to continue to invest in compute capacity from this point out. And fundamentally, because every single company depends on software, every software will depend on AI. And so every company will produce tokens. And that's the reason why I call them AI factories. And whether you're a company in the cloud data centers, you have AI factories to generate tokens for your revenues. If you're an enterprise software company, you're going to generate tokens for the agentic systems that are on top of your tools. If you are a robotics factory, and self-driving cars, first indication of that, you have huge supercomputers, which are basically AI factories, to generate tokens that goes into your cars, that becomes its AI. And then you also have to put computers inside the cars to continuously generate tokens. And so we're fairly sure now that this is the future of computing. Now, why is it so certain that this is the future of computing? And the reason for that is because the way we used to do software was pre-recorded. Everything was captured a priori. We pre-compile the software, we pre-write the content, we pre-record the videos. But now everything is generative in real time. And when it's generated in real time, it can take into context of the person, the situation, the query, and the intentions could all be taken into consideration to generate the outcome of this new software we call AI, agentic AI. And so the amount of computation necessary is far, far greater than pre-recorded. Just as a computer has a lot more computation capability than a DVD recorder, a DVD player that was pre-recorded, artificial intelligence needs a lot more computing capability than the way we used to do software in the past. Now, the question about computation, about sustainability at the first level is just at the computer science level. This is the way computing is going to be done. Now, from an industrial level, because all of our companies in the final analysis are powered by software, and the cloud companies are powered by software, and if the new software requires tokens to be generated, and the tokens are monetized, then it stands to reason that their data center build-out directly drives their revenues. And so compute drives revenues. And I think they all understand that. I think people are increasingly starting to understand that as well. And then lastly, the benefits that AI produces for the world ultimately has to generate revenues. And we're seeing right in front, right being developed as we see, as we stand here, agentic AI has turned an inflection point. And it literally happened in the last couple of 2-3 months. Of course, inside the industry, we've been seeing it for a while, probably 6 months or so. But the world is now awakened to the agentic AI inflection. The agents are super smart. They're solving real problems. Coding is obviously supported by agentic systems now. And all of our coders here at Nvidia are using agentic systems, either Cloud Code or OpenAI Codex, enormously and oftentimes both, and Cursor, oftentimes all three, depends on the use case. But they have agents and design partners, engineering partners to help them solve problems. And you could see their revenue skyrocketing. These companies, in the case of Anthropic, I think their revenues 10x in a year. And they are severely capacity constrained because demand is just incredible. And the token demand is incredible. The token generation rate is growing exponentially. And the same thing with, of course, OpenAI. Their demand is incredible. And so the more compute that they can stand online, bring online, the faster their revenues will grow. And that goes back to the comment that I was saying, that inference is revenues, that compute equals revenues now in this new world. And in a lot of ways, that's the reason why we say it's a new industrial revolution. There are new factories, new infrastructure being built, and this new way of doing computing is not going to go back. And so to the extent that we believe that producing tokens is going to be the future of computing, which I believe, and I think largely the industry believes, then we're going to be building out this capacity from this point forward and continue to expand from here. Now, the thing that is the wave that we're seeing now is the agentic AI inflection. And the next inflection beyond that is physical AI, where we take AI and these agentic systems into the physical applications, such as manufacturing, such as robotics. And so that's a giant opportunity ahead. Okay.
This concludes the question and answer session. I'll turn the call to Toshiya Hari.
In closing, please note Jensen will be participating in a fireside chat at the Morgan Stanley TMT conference in San Francisco on March 4th. He'll also be giving a keynote at GTC in San Jose on March 16th. Our earnings call to discuss the results of our first quarter of fiscal 2027 is scheduled for May 20th. Thank you for joining us today. Operator, please go ahead and close the call.
Thank you. This concludes today's conference call. You may now disconnect.
Well, thank you. All right, chat. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Later.